Hey guys, welcome back. Check this out. We got all of our machine parts in. So probably gonna maybe we'll do them all in the same video, we'll see. But this is the one for the fuel pump. And it looks fucking awesome. Now, the one thing I haven't done is order all the bolts. So I gotta do that, so I'll probably work on that probably tomorrow. Man, this thing turned out great. So we got this thing Billet 6061 T6 with hard anodizing. And it's all just one big assembly. Let me see. Let me just do it this way. Check this out. Oh, I'll put that on backwards. Hold up. Goes this way. Yeah, like that. So when it's on the car, pump goes through that bore. These holes, let's see. That goes about like this. So I think it goes here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so those holes line up like that. And they all line up. Or God, we hope so. Yeah, there we go. So that looks nice. So that's how it's going to go. And we just got to buy these bolts and we can thread those in. Then we got to buy the bolts that go here, that go through the oil pump into the engine block. Our pulleys, I got to go run the tracking because they got lost and we had to order them a second time. So hopefully they'll be here soon. But yeah, this sucker is looking very nice. I'm glad we did it this way. So I guess the next thing is let's go check and see if this happens to fit on the block correctly. That's probably going to be important. Alright, so check it out. So this is going to go... Oh, look at that. Let's see if any of these holes line up. Close. Close. Oh yeah, look at that. It's kind of hard to do this and film at the same time. But that part looks good. And check this out. Oh, that's fucking great. These landed perfect. That's what we're talking about. So that's going to just be like a little unit bolted to the... Oh, that looks badass. Alright, so that's a success. We measured it like 20 times because this was expensive to make, so I didn't want to have to remake it. But that's looking fantastic. So, awesome. So we just got to spec the bolts for that. So, alright, let's go look at some of our other billet parts. Alright, look at this beauty. So this is the second part we made. This is our water pump delete. So basically the water pump, you have 3 bolts that will bolt it to the block. This is for the tensioner on the timing belt. This is the idler for the timing belt. I've got to drill and tap that center hole to the right thread pitch. But and then the center part, that's where the water is going to come out of the cylinder head. Or into the cylinder head, depending on how we do this. Or sorry, the block. Yeah, so this is probably water that'll come out of the block and we'll pump it into the head. Something like that. We'll figure it out. But we're just either going to weld a bung on here or like an AN fitting. We'll figure that out. Backside's just flat. Pretty straightforward. So the big question is, does this actually fit the block? The second question is, I wonder if I can sell these. I actually had an extra made. So if it doesn't fit, I'll have a spare ornament. But if it does fit, I could sell at least one of these if anybody ever needs one. So let's go see if this fits the block, because that's the $1,000,000 question. Okay, so I have not checked yet. We're going to do this in real time. Let's see. There's a bolt. I think that's a water pump bolt. Alright, there's one. There's 2. And the big question. Oh yes. Look at that. Oh, let's check and see if that one worked. Beautiful. Very nice. Oh, that's going to work. That is poking up ever so slightly. So what we are going to have to do is, well, what we should do, I think this block's been decked. So we're probably going to trim a tiny bit off of here because I don't want the head bumping into this. That's easy enough. That's like 10 seconds with a sander. But let's run these in a little bit. And now this bolt might be too long. Whatever, good enough. So there we go. Check that out. That was badass. So good stuff. This was definitely a question mark in the design. Was like, you know, I contemplated I was going to take him like, so what most people do, I've never actually seen this done, at least not on this platform. So what I've seen in the past is people just gut the stock water pump. That seems to be the method. I looked into it. I really thought about it. I decided not to do this like 5 times. And finally one day I was like, fuck it. I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to design it to where I don't have to build it. And so I decided to do that. And I went ahead and got 2 of them made in the hopes that I could sell one. And this is looking badass. Fucking shiny. Fits great. All we got to do is trim that a little bit, which is no big deal. And just drill. This is already tap drill, I think. But we just drill it and tap it to the correct threads so that the idler pulley goes here. See, we got a bunch of lightweighting holes, which is very nice. Fucking shiny as hell. Looks really good. So that is awesome, because we do have our electric water pump, so we'll just hook that up and Bob's your uncle. Alright, so pretty excited with that, but let me go show you the last billet part we got. Okay, so this is our mandrel that we had made. So this is made out of 4330, and we had a QPQ black oxide coating put on so it won't rust. And this thing looks badass. So you can see that where my fingernail goes, that goes into the bore of the harmonic dampener to keep it centered. So the bolts don't keep it concentric, that diameter does. The bolts just pinch it down and give it, you know, the ability to transfer torque. There's their shaft. So the pulley's gonna like press fit onto this, and we'll put a spot weld or 2 to make sure it's rigidly attached. There's our lightweighting hole, and you can see it gets a nice pretty radius for strength and lightweight. Man, this thing just turned out great. So real happy with this. Go see if there's any way to stick this on the dampener without taking it apart. I'm just curious. See what that looks like. Okay. Let's see. So that part does what I was hoping. Got a tiny bit of jigglage, so it's not quite as concentric as I was hoping. Not sure. I did tell him plus or minus 5 thou, so maybe it's a little undersized. I don't think that's really going to matter. It is moving around though some. That's more than I would have thought. I did leave it some clearance though, but that is more than I expected. So I guess if I do a new revision, I might tighten that up a little. But it looks pretty obvious that if you were to remove those bolts, that it would work. Oh wait, there's some bolt holes. Those aren't the ones I was going to use, I don't think, but are those threaded? Oh, those aren't threaded, but it'll give us an idea if that's probably right, which it looks like it is. Oh yeah, nice. So yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to look like when we got the pulley on. It'll just be bolted up. So this is looking like a win. So overall, very good. It looks like we're 3 for 3 on our billet machine parts. So that's badass. Well, that's going to wrap this up for now, but I guess for the engine, some of the next stuff is we got to pull that timing belt down, get the water pump off, and get our new billet bracket installed. And get our mechanical fuel pump bracket going, but I guess I need bolts for all that. So, okay, I guess the real next thing is go spec the damn bolts and get them ordered. Alright guys, hope y'all enjoyed this, and until next time, y'all take it easy. Hey guys, welcome back. Alright, so today we are working on our mechanical fuel pump setup, and as you can see, our pulleys have come in, as well as our machine parts. So, good news, this fits here great. It is a pretty snug fit. I can't really do that by hand, but if you eventually push and wiggle, these two are basically the same size, according to my caliper. So it does go together, but it takes some force, which is great. So that's probably fine. Now this one, we knew this was going to be close, but I still think it's going to work. So these are different sizes. We did that on purpose. We were going to make this a 1/2 inch, but it looked kind of flimsy, and we decided to make it more rigid, which would create work for us because I couldn't buy a pulley this small with a bore that big. So this is only 1/2 inch and this is 11/16, so actually quite a difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this guy in the milling machine and then go in there and like take an end mill and just open that hole up to match this, to where these are basically the same size. We'll take a hammer and kind of tap that down and probably put a spot weld. It actually has spots for set screws, but I don't really like those. So we're probably just going to tack weld it on there, silver Loctite as it were. So let me show you. We're setting up to do this now. Don't know if this is going to work. We might scrap this pulley. Let's hope that doesn't happen because, well, that would suck. But here's what we're going to try to do. So, in the mill, I've already done this setup once and it didn't really work, so now we're going to try again. So what I'm doing, I have a piece of metal here. It happens to be an end mill, but this is just a 1/2 inch diameter. So, watch. Yeah, this fits. There it goes. This fits here, but it's, you know, got like maybe a thou of clearance. Not much, but a little bit. So what we're going to do is we put a 1/2 inch collet in our mill, and we're going to install the collet into, or install the piece into the collet. I can't do this on camera, it's going to fall out of there, but we're going to tighten that up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the machine down like this, and we're going to try to find right where it touches that back vice jaw while it's clamped in here. Get the vice clamped, make sure it still rotates freely. So basically we're clamped on the part, but we're dead center in the bore. And we'll just use the Z-axis to retract, remove this 1/2 inch thing, remove that collet, put a 1/4 inch collet with a 1/4 inch end mill. And since we have the center, we'll just tell the software program, hey, start from the center of the program with this tool, and I'll create a cam profile to machine that out. The biggest gotcha that I'm worried about is when I squeeze this, I'm going to distort it a little. Hopefully that doesn't matter, like it's not enough to matter. And then when I open it up, it's going to lose some of its stiffness, so it might get ripped out of the vise and scrap the part while I'm machining it. Let's hope that doesn't happen either. But if it works, when we're done, we'll just pop this out and it'll have the right size bore. So let's see if this is going to go.